Let me see if this sounds familiar, sis. You're capable. You can handle a lot. People rely on you because you're the one who figures things out. From the outside, your life might even look like it's moving forward. But inside your body, things feel different. Your mind rarely shuts off. Even when the day is technically over, part of your brain is still running, replaying conversations, thinking about what needs to be done tomorrow, or wondering if you forgot something important. Your shoulders stay tight more often than they're relaxed. Your jaw might stay clenched without you even realizing it. Sometimes you even catch yourself holding your breath or taking shallow breaths like your body is on standby. And sometimes the strangest things happen. Right when life starts expanding, maybe an opportunity shows up or something finally starts working. Instead of feeling calm or excited, you feel overwhelmed. You start overthinking things that used to feel simple. You hesitate, you procrastinate, you question yourself. Most people call that self-sabotage. But what if that's not actually what's happening? Your nervous system might simply be hitting what I call a capacity ceiling. All that means is that it hasn't quite yet learned how to hold the level of life that you're trying to build. And once you understand how that works, a lot of the patterns that used to feel confusing start to make much more sense. And what's surprising is that this pattern can appear right when things are finally starting to work. That's what we're going to talk about today. Sis, stay with me though, because if you don't understand this, you'll keep repeating the same cycles. Things start expanding, then your body tightens, then you overthink, then you procrastinate, and then you end up right back where you started, calling it self-sabotage. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what the capacity ceiling actually is, why it gets triggered by opportunity, support, and even peace, and how to start expanding your capacity so growth stops feeling like pressure. Many of the women who find this channel are extremely capable people. You're responsible, intelligent, and used to holding it all together. You've learned how to perform under pressure, meet expectations, and show up even when you're exhausted. From the outside, you often look like the strong one, but inside your body, things can feel very, very different. Your mind keeps running long after the workday is over, replaying conversations, planning tomorrow, or scanning what you might have forgotten. Silence can feel strangely uncomfortable, and even your downtime carries this subtle sense of urgency in the background. And you realize that it is not sustainable anymore. You might sit down to relax and notice your body still feels slightly braced, like it's waiting for the next demand to appear. And this doesn't just show up in the body. It shows up in the way your thought pattern starts looping through everything that could go wrong, or in the way your emotional set point stays just a little elevated. Not full panic, but not fully calm either. So instead of actually feeling restored, your nervous system stays on standby, like it's preparing for the next thing that might require your attention. So when people say things like, just believe bigger, or just push harder, or just be strong, it doesn't really land because a part of you already senses the issue isn't effort. The real issue is that your nervous system has a tolerance range. And most of us were never taught how much that tolerance range actually influences what we're able to hold in our lives. Most people assume this tension means that they're doing something wrong or sabotaging their own success. But often what's actually happening is that you've reached what I call a capacity ceiling, which is simply the level that your nervous system currently knows how to regulate. So what exactly is the capacity ceiling? Your nervous system operates within what psychologists often call a window of tolerance. Inside this window, your body feels regulated enough to process experiences, make decisions, and respond to life in a grounded way. When you're inside that range, you can think clearly and move forward without overwhelming yourself. But when something pushes you beyond that range, your nervous system reacts. What surprises many people is that this reaction doesn't only happen when things get worse. It also happens when life gets bigger. Things like more visibility, more money, more responsibility. Even more peace can increase the amount of energy your system has to process. And if your nervous system hasn't learned how to navigate and regulate that level of intensity yet, it will often try to correct itself. Your brain's primary job is not happiness. Its primary job is safety. And to your nervous system, safety usually means familiarity, right? So when something unfamiliar happens, even if it's positive, your body may unconsciously try to return to the level it already knows how to regulate. This is why what we often call self-sabotage can be misunderstood. What many people label as self-sabotage is often a nervous system trying to reduce intensity and return to a level it knows how to regulate. And until that capacity expands, the same patterns tend to repeat, no matter how motivated or capable someone is. Often, the nervous system simply keeps people stuck in the same cycles because it is trying to protect what feels familiar and safe. Your system isn't trying to ruin your success. It's trying to restore what feels predictable and safe. The truth is, many women don't lack ambition, they don't lack intelligence or work ethic. They've simply never been taught how to expand their nervous system's capacity to hold the life that they're actually trying to build. This leads to one of the most important things you can understand about growth. You can't hold what your system can't regulate. That's why women who are capable of more still keep snapping back to the same life. It isn't a lack of intelligence, ambition, planning, or skill. It's simply that their nervous system hasn't expanded its capacity yet. From the outside, these patterns often look like procrastination or avoidance. You might delay opportunities, overanalyze decisions, or withdraw right when things begin to work. But underneath those behaviors is usually a nervous system attempting to restore equilibrium. Imagine your internal capacity like a container. Over time, your body becomes accustomed to holding a certain amount of stress, responsibility, or emotional intensity. If something suddenly pours more into that container, more opportunity, more visibility, or more pressure, anxiety begins to rise. None of those things are negative on their own. They're often exactly what you've been working toward. But if your nervous system hasn't learned how to regulate that level of expansion yet, your body interprets the increase in intensity as something it needs to brace for. So your brain starts scanning for problems. Your body tightens up. Your thoughts begin to race. You feel the urge to escape the situation. This is where identity becomes important. The survival version of you learned to function within a certain level of pressure. She became reliable, productive, and responsible because those traits helped her navigate environments where being useful felt necessary. Upgraded version of you, the one capable of holding more wealth, peace, and creative expansion, requires a nervous system that can process higher levels of energy without going into panic or shutdown mode. The survival identity sees expansion as pressure. The upgraded identity sees expansion as capacity. And that shift doesn't happen through motivation alone, it happens through regulation. This is exactly why so many high-achieving and successful women feel like they're pouring from an empty cup. Their capacity has been stretched for years without ever being restored. Burnout isn't just about doing too much. It's often the result of a nervous system that has been operating beyond its capacity for far too long. The nervous system has been running on urgency, responsibility, and pressure for so long that it begins to treat those states as normal. When life then asks them to hold something bigger, more opportunity, more visibility, more wealth, the system resists it. And this is the deeper truth behind expansion. If your system has been running in survival for years, capacity doesn't expand through motivation or goal setting. It expands when the nervous system finally learns that it's safe to hold more. And once the body feels safe, the ceiling begins to raise. The encouraging part is that your capacity ceiling can expand. The nervous system is adaptable, which means that your ability to hold success, peace, money, and responsibility can actually grow over time. When that shift occurs, things that once triggered anxiety begin to feel manageable. Opportunities that once felt overwhelming become easier to navigate. Instead of snapping back to old patterns, your new level of capacity becomes your baseline. If this concept is starting to resonate with you, I'm curious, sis. Have you ever had a moment where something good started expanding, maybe an opportunity, more visibility, or even progress you've worked hard for? But instead of feeling excited, your body reacted with pressure or overwhelm. I'd love to hear if you've experienced that. Let me know in the comments. I'm on a mission this year to help 1,000 high-achieving women exit survival mode and raise their capacity ceiling. So if you keep hitting the same upper limit, I made a free guide to help you understand what's happening in your nervous system. Plus, inside the guide, there's practical strategies and journal prompts to help you hold more with less pressure. Grab it below, or you can receive it in the link in my bio. And if you want to continue exploring how nervous system regulation influences identity, manifestation, and the life you're able to hold, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Because once your system learns how to regulate expansion, the life that used to feel out of reach starts becoming something you can actually sustain. And that's when everything begins to change in your life, because success should not cost you your peace. I'll see you next time.